All right, so what does hard pretzels and Druck's cheese have to do with Christmas trees? Well, I'm glad you asked. This is part two of the Importance of Tradition series. This is a little mini series I decided to do. Last week I created a video and the topic was hunting, and I discussed the importance of that tradition and how it shaped my life and how I have tried to build little mini traditions around the hunting season with my children, and hopefully they are things that they will carry on with their families and just traditions that will live on for generations to come, through our family. But now that hunting season is over, Saturday was the last day for us. Now it is full speed ahead towards Christmas. And this tradition that I'm going to discuss today is a Christmas tradition, and it involves Christmas trees, because you can't have Christmas without a Christmas tree, right? I mean, you got to have a Christmas tree. And so going back to the day after Thanksgiving, this is the day that we decided and dedicated to this tradition. And it involves us getting our Christmas tree. And you might be thinking, well, that's not a tradition. Everybody gets a tree, But the things that we've incorporated into this, that are part of us getting the tree, these things all together are what make this a special tradition and a unique tradition for our family. And I think it's pretty cool. So I thought I would, talk about it here for anybody that would be interested, because I'm very interested in tradition. I think that, when we look at certain traditions, there's such a rich history there, and I'm just fascinated by it. And so I thought this topic was worthy of maybe like even a little mini series here to talk about, a few of the traditions that we do, and hopefully we can get some interaction from the audience and hear about some of yours as well. So anyway, like I said, this takes us back to the day after Thanksgiving, that Friday. We typically get around in the morning and have a nice breakfast, and then everybody will get ready. And by getting ready, part of that is putting on your ugly Christmas sweater for the year. And I usually get some hot chocolates ready for the ride, and we get our bag of hard pretzels and make sure that is in the vehicle, and we all pile in, and we head about an hour northwest of us towards a little town called Germania in Pennsylvania, where there is not much. I think there's 2 bar rooms, a country store, and a tree farm. And for this particular tradition, we're not there for the bar rooms. We're only there for the tree farm and the country store. But anyway, we make that trek out there. Typically locally here, the radio stations start playing Christmas music. If not on Thanksgiving, it's the day after. So, we're listening to Christmas music on the way out. And this whole day is really what kicks off the entire holiday season for us. I mean, this is what sparks it off. This is what gets everybody into the holiday spirit this particular day. And so anyway, we head to Germania, and we get to the tree farm. And every year, because they are used to us, as well, I think that even, they have their own traditions with selling Christmas trees to families. And so it's just cool to have our traditions merge. And that it does, because when we show up, we're always announced. She announces when we walk in, oh, it's the ugly Christmas sweater family, and so just, it's pretty cool that they know from year to year, they know to expect us. And so we get there, and this is a big tree farm, and they have fresh cut trees, and I believe this is the first day of the season that they open. And so inside a big pole barn, they have all these trees lined up. And so you go in and you go around and you look at the trees, and if there's one you want to look at, they have a worker come over and he'll pull it out and spin it around for you. And typically we go through about 4 or 5 of them before we agree on the one that's going to be our Christmas tree that year. And so we pick our tree, and then over in the corner they have a nice little cozy area set up with homemade goods, and it's like homemade bark and homemade soaps and a few other items. And so we typically grab a few things from the homemade corner there, and then the owner will take a picture of us with our Christmas tree, and then they get it wrapped up and we get it loaded on the vehicle and we head over to the country store. And this is the part to me that's the unique part of this, because I have never seen this anywhere else. But in the country store, and this is an old school traditional country store that's out in the middle of nowhere. But when you walk in, the first thing you will notice is a big wooden case that's on the counter, and that case is designed to hold a wheel of cheese, and I mean a massive wheel. I mean, the wheel's got to be, I have no idea, but if I had to guess, it would be probably 30 to 50 pounds. Just a massive wheel that sits inside this enclosure that was built just specifically for this. You can tell it was made a long time ago, because you can just sense the craftsmanship with this box. But anyway, it's got a blade mounted and built right into the box for cutting the cheese. And so they'll spin the cheese and cut it, and then they'll spin it again and cut it, and then they'll pull you out a chunk freshly cut and sell it to you, typically by the pound. And so it's just a really cool thing. We love it. It's just a cool thing to see. It's just, things like this back in the day were probably common, but now it's unique and very much less common. And so just seeing that, it's just a really cool thing. And the cheese is absolutely amazing. And we have always called it Druck's cheese, but it's essentially just Wisconsin sharp. And it's amazing. But anyway, so we get our cheese, we hop in the vehicle, and we are now headed back home, eating our hard pretzels and our Druck's cheese and listening to Christmas music, and everybody's happy because we have our Christmas tree and we got our cheese and we got our pretzels, and it's just a great time. It's a special time. And usually we get home and I unload the tree and get it set up, and then we'll a little later throw a Christmas movie on, and my wife and I get the lights on it, and then she sits down and opens up the bins of ornaments, and she hands our children each ornaments, and they place them on the tree. And so even that is built into our tradition, and then they alternate each year who puts the star on top. And it's just a beautiful time. It's a very special tradition to my family. Something we look forward to every year. And even the cheese, like, we only get this cheese at this time, and so it's once a year, and so it just makes it like I said, it's just special. It's just special. But this year, just to discuss a little bit about what happened this year, because we tried to switch things up a little bit, and as you know, traditions shouldn't be tweaked once they're established. And I think when you do this is when things tend to go wrong. But anyway, this year we decided that, well, we have a few nice white pines that are on the property. Why don't we just cut one of our own trees down this year? And we can still go get the cheese, but we'll just we'll get our own tree from our own property this year. And so we decided to do that. Me and the boys went out to scope them out, and we found one that was perfect. And we took a picture of it and brought it back to show the wife, because it was pretty cold and blistery that day, and she wasn't too interested in going out in the woods to look at trees. So we took a picture, and she agreed that it was a beautiful tree. So we decided, okay, this is the tree. We'll cut it when we get back. Right now we're heading to Germania for some cheese. And so we drove on out there, and the first part of this that was annoying, it was, like I said, the Christmas music that's on the local radio. The entire way out there was Christmas music on, but very little, because it was interrupted the entire time by commercials. It was like they were, the radio station was at a local dealership, and so it was like all this stuff going on with buying vehicles, and it was all about that. We hardly heard any Christmas music, and so that was a little bit of a bummer. Then we pull in at the country store, and immediately upon pulling in, we could tell that the lights were out and that there was a paper on the door. And I walked up and looked, and of course, the paper said, "We are closed for this week. We will be back Saturday," which we were there Friday, and so they were going to be open back up the following day. And so, needless to say, I could just feel the energy just leave the vehicle as soon as we pulled in and realized that the store was closed. I mean, it was such a bummer. So now here we are heading back the other way without our cheese. And so that was about a 2-hour round trip for nothing. We get home, we go out, we cut the tree down, and then we get the tree inside, get it set up, and realize that the tree's not as near as nice in the house as it was out in nature. And so we decided, my son wanted to get a tree. He wanted to cut a tree, off the property this year for in his bedroom. And so we decided, well, we'll just give him this one because this isn't going to work for our main tree. And so we ended up, putting that tree in his room. And I decided that the next day we are going back to Germania to get the tree, to get the cheese, and so that we can kick off this season, because it just did not feel right. I mean, when you do something for so long, and this tradition is something as far as getting the tree and the cheese that we've been doing for 15 to 20 years. And then the ugly sweater part of it has probably been 8 to 10 years. And so it's just something that you do every year. And so when something doesn't work, it just, I don't know, it's a big letdown, when it comes to these traditions. And so even though the next day was buck season, I decided, you know what, we're going to skip it. We're going to skip the first day because we need to get this tree, and we need to get our cheese, and we need to, carry out this tradition, because it just will not be the same without it. And so that's what we did. We ended up doing everything again the next day, and we went out, and just as I had said, we went and got our tree, and again, it was, the ugly Christmas sweater family's here, and we go in, get our tree, we get our bark, and we head over to the country store, we get our cheese, and now finally it felt like it was complete, and we can now all be in the holiday spirit moving forward. And so we came home and set the tree up and everything that I had previously discussed, and so problem solved. We were able to go through with it. But the main thing here is that this is why I decided to make this series, because traditions are important, and they are so important, in my opinion, that I will go out of my way if I have to ensure that we do these things, even if it's an inconvenience in another way. The traditions matter so much that it doesn't even compare. Should I go hunting tomorrow, or should we go do this thing and get our tree? I mean, it's not even comparable. We were off to get the tree and the cheese. So, but just a little history on this cheese, because I think this is an amazing thing here. And so this cheese, this Drux cheese, I was always under the impression that was the name of the cheese, like Swiss cheese or cheddar cheese or sharp cheese. I thought that this was Drux cheese, because growing up, we would go out the weekend before bear season, which is the week of Thanksgiving here. We would go out to Germania and get the cheese for hunting camp, and so that we would have it through buck season. And so that's how I knew the cheese was at this country store. And then when we later found out that there was also a tree farm there, well, then I decided with my wife, like, we should go out and get our tree, and then we can get some of this cheese while we're out there. And so the tradition began in that way. But there were a few years there during COVID where it wasn't available. The first year, the tree farm was still open, but we had went to the country store and it was closed because of COVID. And again, it's just, like if any little piece of it is missing, it's just not the same. It's just not the same. And that's how you know you're dealing with a tradition. And so that year, I remember being bummed out because we didn't have our cheese and it just wasn't the same. We were heading home with a tree, but we weren't eating pretzels and cheese. And so it just wasn't the same. And then the following year, we had went there and we had got our tree and went to the country store, and they actually had sold the store to another. It was under new ownership, and I had went in, and again, no cheese, but I got to at least talk with the new owner about it, and she was explaining to me that the family that they had previously gotten the cheese from out in Wisconsin, I think that the family's name was Drux, and so it was their business that was called Drux, not Drux Cheese. It was Wisconsin Sharp, but it was Drux was the business. But she assured me that that although that family, I believe, got shut down through the whole process of COVID, as many small businesses did, that she was trying to obtain another supplier for it because she knew how important it was to their business, the country store, because people come from all over to get this cheese. Because, like I said, I've never seen anywhere else that has this type of setup. And so it was important to their business. And I think the following year, they finally were able to get, a new supplier of the cheese. And so there was a couple years we went without it where it just was not the same. But then now we are back in business, and that's pretty much it. That's our tradition around Christmas trees, getting our Christmas tree. And like I said, it's very special to me and my family, and I know my kids very much look forward to it. And so, yeah, I'm curious what your traditions may be. I would love to hear from you. Like I said, I'm very fascinated in tradition. I think that when you look at tradition, there's just such a rich history with a lot of the traditions, and it's just so interesting to me, and I'm fascinated by it. So I would love to hear about your traditions. So please leave it in the comments. This is a new channel, and so any interaction at all would be very greatly appreciated. And if you've liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe, because like I said, I'm gonna try and turn this into a little mini series. I'm thinking maybe 5. So this was part 2. We'll do a few more, and then if I can get some people to share their traditions, maybe on the 5th and final video, I will pull a few of those in and discuss and highlight your traditions on the final video. So that's my thoughts anyway. We'll see how it goes, but anyway, that's all I got for this one. Until the next one, I'm Brad Casper. This is Casper's Corner, and we are out.